Hey guys, welcome to Pearls of Eden. Thank you for joining me today. I want to show you a clip of the infamous Andrew Tate. He is bold as a lion. Remember in this season, I said that Ava is releasing his fiery ones, and Andrew Tate says whatever it is that needs to be said, and he does it unapologetically, and I am here for it. He released a video talking about the exposure of Balenciaga, sharing his thoughts, and many of the things that he said, if not all of them, I completely agree with. Many of these things, a lot of us have known for decades, right? These are things that have been conspiracy theory. A lot of people have been labeled many things if you speak on these topics. But as the seasons are, as God is exposing, I should say, he is exposing many things that were once in darkness, which were once, covered. He is continuing to just lift the veil and expose the wickedness, because it cannot be night forever, but the light must arise. And I love how the fiery ones are coming out, and they are bold and they're speaking their mind. So I'm going to show you some clips. I'm not going to show you the entire video simply because, if you say anything about the cocoa, the vanilla, the powers that be will definitely shut you down. So I have to be very careful, but I will leave the link to where you can see the entire video. So let's get started.
Former brand, which he has now disassociated with him, shout out to Kanye, Balenciaga.
Yeah, so anyone who's not familiar with what has happened, they put up a advertising campaign with children holding bondage teddy bears, and then people started looking deeper into their images and noticing that books in the background were written by pedophiles, and they were finding other names in the background of their images that if you Google, that person has taken illicit photos of children, etc. So basically, Balenciaga is rife head to toe with these little hidden cookies, all linking to
child molestation,
and pedophilia.
Let me tell you something. If I have a little girl, I would never let her do any kind of modeling, because that business is just filled with pedophiles and degenerates. But if I sent her on a photo shoot, thought my little girl's going to shoot for Balenciaga, that's good, and told her mother to go take her down to the photo studio, and she came back holding teddy bears in BDSM sexual bondage gear.
And why this is happening. The chance of it being a coincidence, not just the child. The thing is, I'm going to give Balenciaga the benefit of the doubt. A little girl holding a bondage teddy bear is distasteful and is clearly promoting pedophilia. But you could perhaps argue in a court of law that it was just, they weren't thinking and they didn't realize, perhaps. But multiple campaigns having books written by people who were either making pedophilic content or arrested and charged for murder of a child or pedophilia. That is not a coincidence. You can't argue that away as oops. You can't argue that away as I wasn't
tried
thinking.
Very hard.
You can't argue that away. You've tried very hard to put in that many deliberate references to a particular mindset, which obviously the world finds repulsive. Therefore, by extension, you have to understand that if it was done on purpose, which as we've just deciphered it must have been, why are they doing this? And if it was done on purpose, which as we've just deciphered it must have been, why are they doing this? And I don't think many people understand why a brand like Balenciaga would so openly show the world that they are trying to promote pedophilia.
Tell them.
I'll tell them why. So some could argue that they're trying to advertise it and encourage it.
Normalize.
And that is the case. That is what they're trying to do. But it actually goes a level deeper than that. Satanists, people who worship Satan, believe in karmic retribution. They believe that they can suffer the consequence of lying and tricking you. So the very simple premise is this. If I sell poison apples and I write apples and you come and eat one, I poisoned you. But if I sell poison apples and I have a sign that says apples, they're poison, and you come and eat one, you committed suicide. I haven't murdered you. You've committed suicide.
That's what Satanists believe.
Satanists believe by telling you what they're doing, they don't have any karmic retribution. I'm not responsible for the concept. I'm not responsible for all the negative fallout from my actions if they understood what I was doing and allowed me to do.
All right, so in this clip, I'm showing you a picture of Valakova. And just look at this picture. It's quite creepy, right? It's very dark. She is the head designer of Balenciaga. Now you see she has this red suit on. She's got these babies that are obviously dripped in blood, and her hands are covered in some substance that looks like blood. Right here in itself, it's just really dark, and anybody that has eyes to see knows that this is very demonic and satanic. But this is what they're putting out, guys. These are the people that are running these companies. And so it's important for us to understand, because when Abba is ready to release something, you know, he's going to expose it. He's going to lift the veil, because it cannot be night always. But what happens is sometimes we want to move ahead of Father's time, and we have to make sure that we're in sync with him when he is ready to reveal a matter. And we're in this season, as we've been in for a year or two, where he is really exposing a lot of things, but it's at a heightened level, right? So the exposure just keeps becoming it just keeps growing, right? So yeah, you see her in this very dark, satanic looking imagery, and you just take a look at it for yourself, you know?
This is why they show you and tell you what they're doing. If I show you and tell you that we are pedophiles and you continue to buy our products, then you're supporting pedophilia, and you're obviously okay with us being pedophiles. If I do it hidden behind your back, then you can argue and say, I didn't know they were pedophiles. But by showing you, I've shown you I'm a pedophile. You still want to wear my t-shirt. So obviously what I'm doing is okay. And this karmic retribution model and the way that Satanists view the world, and when I say Satanists, I genuinely mean people who worship real Satan. The people who are in charge of these brands and in charge of the Western world and in charge of the Matrix genuinely worship Satan. When you understand the idea of karmic retribution, you can apply that to so many scenarios. They're doing this with everything. Karmic retribution isn't just about Balenciaga. Let's look at the recent scam of COVID. They made it very clear to you it was bullshit. They made it very clear that the virus isn't going to hurt you.
They made it clear that they didn't listen. They disobeyed the mask laws.
Yeah, they made it very clear to you it was all stupid, so that when you still did it, they could say, well.
What he's saying is right. They put everything in hidden in plain sight. That is their motto, so that you can see with your own eyes, you can hear with your ears, and you come up with your own decision. And if you decide to walk hand in hand and support these people and support their agenda, that is your amen. That is you coming into agreement with them. And this is why you have to be very careful, and you have to question everything. You've got to pray about everything, because the deception is so very high, and they don't often confirm the conspiracy, you know, the cray-cray people, until a year or two, or sometimes decades later. So where there is smoke, there is fire, and you have to be wise, because they put everything out there. They kind of feel like it's the Charles Darwin theory, the fittest of the survival. If you're stupid enough to fall for the okie doke and you don't have enough wisdom or intellect to figure things out, then you're fair game. Is that right? No, I don't think it's right. But this is the game these people play, all right? So I am going to put the rest of the video in the description box and for your viewing enjoyment, because it goes a lot deeper. It's amazing. So I'll put it there, and I'll see you all soon, all right? Bye.